Hi, I'm Sherry Ann Simpson, and I am the founder and owner of EduNovela.com. And we are a group of about 18 professors and high school teachers who are creating this product for you and bringing it to you and your students. So we hope that you're enjoying it. We're all real professors and teachers. And we've all had a lot of experience with this type of tool. So we are lucky that we can bring it to our classrooms. We're very fortunate that we have you as our clients, and we'd like to share a few things with you. So right now, what I'm going to show you is how students access our site. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to see this okay. So what I wanted to show you was a little bit of a walkthrough of what your students are going to be doing when they get to our site. So here they'll go to just to EduNovela.com, and on the far right, they'll choose portal access. But right before that, just in case you might not have your classes set up yet, I wanted you to know that if you go into our products tab, you will see the first 3 episodes for free of each of our programs, and you are welcome to use those with your students in the first few weeks of class. You can get started right now if you want to. There is no login required. We never require a password, so students can go in and see those right away. The one thing they can't do is they can't take the little 5-point end quiz that's optional if you want them to do that. They can't do that because these are our samples. And once you get them put into your site and they start watching through our portal, of course, you get access to their answers and their scores. So when they start off, you're going to go to have them register. They're going to go to portal access. If you joined us from last year, you'll notice that we've switched this around. So I don't want you to be confused, but on the left is where they will first go to sign up for portal access for the very first time this year, or if you're a new customer. And then every other time they come, this is where they will come here over to the right. So on the left side, they're going to go to portal access. They're going to go either as a high school or college student. They're going to say, they are not an instructor, so they will choose that they are a high school or college student. They'll go to continue, and it's fairly simple. They're just going to need a few items from you to do this, whether you do it together or they do it separately. The very important thing is they choose high school or college. Up here, we have different versions of our shows. They have access to different materials. And so it's really important that they do that also to partner with your class. So they will put in, of course, their first name and their last name. If your school does not allow you to have them do that, then use their first initial, last initial. Otherwise, in your grade book, you will not be able to see who they are. They will put in their school emails. We do not use personal emails in our system. This allows you to get the discounted price for the school price rather than the individual user price. And then they will put in their password, and then of course they will re-enter their password as they usually do. Make sure they have a piece of paper next to them, or maybe they're Spanish if they have a book, or they have a folder or a binder, a spiral, whatever they have, but they should write down their passwords. Especially if they're home right now and they're going to start accessing from home, and then maybe at some point they'll switch to a school device. That's really the most common problem we have is students not being able to remember either their usernames or their passwords. Their username will be their full school email. And again, they will choose their own password. And then you will come here to the name of your high school or college. They'll choose it from the drop down. And here's the first thing they need from you. They need an access code, which you received upon registering. And that's just a series of numbers. And then they will choose the TV course that they're enrolling in. So they'll choose the level, let them know, of course, which one they're choosing. And then they'll find your teacher group. Within your school, some of you are the only teacher and some of you are one of many 15 teachers. So they will find your teacher group. That will be your name, and also the little identifier, the unique identifier that you gave, which will be the period number, or maybe 3 honors or AP or whatever it happens to be. You let them know which unique identifier you gave their section. So those are the 3 pieces of information they need: the access code, the name of the TV show, and then the teacher group. And the teacher group is the teacher section. That's what you call it. And then once they register, it will take them to the portal page, and they will just be able to log back in, and they will be able to just get started again. So I'm going to go back to our portal page. So they're going to go here on the right side. If this is the first time they're logging in this year, they'll go to the right side. It'll have saved their information after this time. You can also see that we have an Instagram for teachers and an Instagram for students. If they'd like to join that, you can let them know. And once they go in, so your students can learn to navigate. It's really quite simple. I just don't want them to miss some of the features that we know a few students have been missing. We heard from a lot of students that it was too fast, they couldn't understand the speaking, and that was really just a matter of them not knowing that we had the tool to slow that down. So I'm going to show you right now what the different features are. So when you as a teacher, you'll also see the same thing on your desktop. You are going to see the different TV shows you are enrolled in. They will all come up consecutively in order according to the level. Your students will only see this tab, Student. They will get their Spanish TV program, their progress and growth chart, which is from the quizzes, should you decide to use the 5-point end of lesson quiz. And then they'll get a calendar if you decide you want to schedule them the release of those so that they don't binge watch them. And we had a lot of students binge watching them. So you might want to set that anyway, just so they don't go ahead and work ahead and then take the quizzes earlier than you might want. So I'd like to show you right now how just one episode works. They will just go to the start episode here. They'll click on the little arrow, and then there's a launch. So they'll click on that. They could also just click on the thumbnail photo, which is probably what most of them will do. And then they will get to the first of our 42 episodes will come up. They have a pre-reading, and that houses some important information. And then you will see that each of our episodes houses somewhere between 5 and 8 segments. It really just depends on how long the segments are. Each episode for the basic program is about 15 minutes of video times 42 episodes. For our intermediate program is around 16 to 17 minutes of video. And for our advanced program for Gran Hotel, it's going to be about 18 minutes of video. And again, each of our programs has 42 episodes, and they'll run in approximately the same way. There's really not a big difference in how we've templated them. So to show you what your students should be shown actually is here is the pre-reading. Most of them cannot read the prelectura without having help. If you have heritage learners mixed in your classroom with other students, they'll probably be able to do that without the help, but otherwise you have them go on the little link and they click, and here is the active storytelling vocabulary that they need to continue throughout the year, the academic year, or the semester, however long you're using this, to discuss the series. And that is something that we were super surprised about 22 years ago when I developed this tool. Is not only did our students have input, which we thought we were just doing listening comprehension, but we found out that they were easily having output. And that is essentially because we do not have any English subtitles. And I'll talk more about that in just a minute. So while they're in the prelectura, they do need this information to watch the authentic video. The reading front loads for them what they're going to see. We do not have translations, we have glosses. In a few cases, we've had to translate things. But they, again, will hopefully know a lot of this working vocabulary from your classroom. And if not, they'll be picking it up as they go through the show. One feature we are very happy we have is 4 different narrators with different Spanish accents. And they can listen to the reading while they read, which is, again, a lot of you know that's one of the great secrets to becoming fluent more quickly is reading at the same time you're listening. And this can be listened to at 3 different speeds.
Silvana Riva Palacios Altamira de Villaseñor es una.
So they can control the volume on that, they can control where they stop, and they can listen to it at various speeds. So that is going to be the pre-reading, which the vocabulary is highlighted in there for them as well. And then they will go back to start the episode. They've gotten a little bit of front-loaded information. And then they will have, here they have 7 different segments. It's 15 minutes of video. So they'll click on the thumbnail, which will open up the player. You'll see if you have, if your students are on iPads, this fits the iPad as well. We do not recommend them watching it on their mobile phones. It is not optimized for that. Most schools in the classroom don't allow students to use their phones. In colleges, you know, you'll do what you want, and you might have students who do that. They can see it, but again, it's not optimized for that. So here you'll see that they get this little it's a scene summary, really. It's a little preview of what's coming in the scene. And this is very helpful for students who do not have English subtitles. It's really a fundamental part of our methodology. So this is what one of our scenes looks like in our media player. And your student will open up each of these individual little scenes. Each one is, it depends on if you're in the basic program, the intermediate program, or the advanced program. Each one is between something like 2 and 5 minutes long, primarily depending, of course, on the level and on the storyline. Here you can see this one's 2 minutes and 33 seconds. So I'm going to start this off, but I also would love for you to show your students, make sure they see that there are different playback speeds for them to choose from. Heritage learners can listen at a normal pace. Many students benefit greatly from the 75%. And if they want to just hone in on one specific word, they should go to 50%. So I'm gonna, you'll see that there's a scene summary here in English for the basic program and in Spanish for the intermediate and advanced programs.
Entonces, ¿para qué estudias administración hotelera? Para viajar. Además, Andrés y yo nos vamos a casar pronto. Estoy casi segura que no me va a...
So what I'd like to show you right now is just the yellow words that come up in the Spanish only subtitles. Pair here on the right with the vocabulary words. And then when they finish the scene, so in addition to having this little front-loaded scene summary, they will also be able to toggle back and forth over here under the vocabulary. They will be able to toggle with a comprehension question. And it doesn't matter how many times they get it right, they get it wrong. It is not scored. So that is just for them to practice and just for their own purposes for comprehension. So we did find out that students were a little bit concerned that that was scored. So make sure they know that it's not. And they can go back and forth and they can watch each scene as many times as they like. And so just be sure to show them the playback speed. That's very important. And then when they finish the 15 minutes of video, if they would like to, or if you assign it, they can read the post reading. And that's a summary in Spanish of what happened, again, to help them with their storytelling. And then they can also go in if they would like to. They get a little preview of what's going to be coming shortly. And clicking here on that will just open up again some of the glosses for the verbs. Once they finish each of those segments, then a quiz will pop up down here. You need to let your students know whether they're expected to take that quiz or not. There are different ways you can use that. It's 5 points of an English comprehension quiz. We do the quizzes in English because research does show that you can't truly test students' comprehension unless it is in their native language. We know that the native language of all of our students is not English. We know that we have bilingual students, heritage learners. So the best way that we could do that and really show true comprehension was to do those in English. You do not have to use those if you do not want to. And that will pop up after the students have watched each scene completely all the way through. So they can't skip ahead to take the quiz. They can't watch it on another streaming tool. They can't just get the info from a friend and then try to take the quiz. There is accountability. They do have to do that. Should you decide to not record the scores, let your students know that they can just do that as another comprehension activity. Should you decide you don't want your students to do that little 5-point end English comprehension quiz, then you can go into our teachers lounge and you can pull out any number of activities that will show you that they're more formative instead of summative, and they will show you that they have done their work. Should you also like to, there is in our curriculum guide a prompt that connects with Flipgrid, which is now free to all educational users. You will see a Flipgrid prompt in every single one, at the end of every single one of our episodes, and you can just copy and paste that if you want to into a continuing grid. And then there are going to be other materials, and those are really for the teachers only. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the teacher section. So if you're sharing this with your students, you can end here. If you are either a teacher or a teacher manager, this is where you will go to this tab. This is your student tab. This is your teacher manager tab. I have 2 extra tabs for my admin. Here, the teacher manager is either going to be a lead teacher in your school or possibly a tech team member that you would like to be on your account. You can have multiple teacher managers. That is not a problem, but one thing to keep in mind is the school's rules about who can oversee other students' grades. I know if you're in a college or university, there are a lot of very firm rules through FERPA. Everybody, pretty much all of us, have to correspond with FERPA, so you would not want to have other teachers who would be able to see your own students' grades. So that's something to keep in mind. Once you're in the teacher or teacher manager, you'll be able to see your users, you will have your grade book, you will have whatever TV shows you're enrolled in. And again, if you're enrolled in more than one show, you'll just keep scrolling on the right until you get to all of your TV shows. And then on the view the episodes, that will just take you, of course, to the episodes. But the part that most of you are going to be interested in getting into, and again, this is not for students, and we do not allow students as TAs to have teacher accounts, so please do not do that. This will also have the instructions for password resets, for checking grades, and the like. So you'll go into our El Salón de los Profesores, and you will see at the top of whichever programs you're enrolled in, you will see our curriculum guide, and soon we'll be posting some extra instructions for you as well. We will also be posting our new grammar packets that are coming out. We have a grammar packet for each of our programs, a part 1 and a part 2. Those will be coming out soon, and you'll see those in here. And then you will see all of the activities associated with your TV show. For Silvana Sin Lana and El Tiempo Entre Costuras, we have activities. We have more than 200 activities and printables. For Gran Hotel, we have more than 300. That's because of the various levels of Gran Hotel, and we have AP activities for the students who need those. And you'll scroll, and here you will see every single one of our handouts, online discussion activities that you can bring up on your screen. You can share those with your students through your LMS. You can customize those. You can print them as handouts for class, whatever you decide to do with those. And so I'm going to show you how to access those. You'll see that each one has both a PDF and a Word doc. So the PDF is if you want something that's like publisher ready, that you just hand out to your students, or you want to print it, or you just want to disseminate it to them, you can do that. The Word doc is what you would download if you want to customize it to your own classes, your own curriculum. We highly recommend that you differentiate even within your own classrooms. You may have 2 or 3 students who you want something different for, and you're welcome to make as many versions of your own sheets as you like. When you're ready to download or look at one of those, you're going to click on the view And then it's going to take it takes a few seconds to download, depending on the richness of the images and how many images there are. And they're very image rich. We want them to be hyper engaging for students. And so we do have all of these wonderful images from the 2 TV companies we're working with. So please do give that just a moment to download. And then you will do that for if you want to just view them or you want to download them. And then you can manipulate those and send them out as you wish. The only thing we ask is that you not publish them on any sites that are public. So if you have a public class page that people can get to from your school's website, for example, you cannot publish those. You can disseminate them through email, through your learning management system, however you'd like to do that. And then we have a series of other fun activities, and actually very useful, especially for those of you who are creative. You will see that we have people cards. They're a little bit like baseball cards. And then we have many screenshots of different things that you can partner with your grammar, different scenes where you can just pull it up and discuss something they watched the day before. So you can use those as you wish. You can use those on your assessments. You can decide how you want to use those. And then we also have a lot of other like vocabulary cards and games and different things. And you'll see those all in this area that is called the El Salón de los Profes. And that's, and then at the very bottom, you'll see some fun things as well. For example, with Gran Hotel, 2 of the stars made videos for us. They're directed to you and your students, and you'll see those. We have some screensavers, some, you know, different types of things that you'll see in there. And we do try to mark things when they're true spoilers, but obviously it's a TV series. They all last 42 episodes, and they move ahead. So you will see that, you know, some things will be spoilers. So for the most part, I think that's where you're going to see what you really need. I'm going to do a separate tutorial on the setting the schedule for your students for the release of the videos, and then on the grade book, because those are just just a little bit too much information for one webinar. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to, I'll be back in touch with you in a little while and share those with you too. So thanks.